So this short video will be about using the administrative functions of VoterClick. This is mainly for county party secretaries and their staff, although other county party officers can use these. But this is the tools that you'll use in the admin section of VoterClick. These are not the function of VoterClick that normal party officers can use. So for example, in the admin section, this is how you set up candidates so they can get their delegate lists and send emails to the VoterClick system. You can also set your county admin settings, like county admin passwords. You can set the access locks and determine who can and cannot make changes in your system. You can also edit your precinct information, such as your delegate allocations and caucus locations. And you can access the voter records. This is mainly for troubleshooting purposes. You should not be using this very much. Most of the changes to the voter records should come either through the process of updating the rosters, or as changes that you receive in the voter list from the county records. So to access the admin functions, you simply go to voterclick.com/admin. You use your same username and password to access it. So I have here a username that is for Utah County Secretary, and these are your functions. You have some files that you can access, and there could be some reports later that will be available. So let's first look at the county records. If you click that, you'll see your own county here. It's the only one that you can access, and this is where you provide some of those passwords. So there's help for each of these. If you have a question about what each of these are, you can simply click on the help icon. But for the Register Click program, will be your county password. You would set this just a few days before caucus, and then notify of all your precinct chairs of what your county password is. And this prevents other users who have downloaded the Register Click Caucus program from interfering with your check-ins for your precincts. Same thing for the caucus results. This is for Register Click. And you'll make up your own password here and notify your delegates a few days before the precinct caucus so that they know what their password is to enter election results. Again, this is for security purposes. We don't have a password for each precinct. We kind of trust our precinct people, and we assume that if you give this confidential password to your precinct chairs, they can pass it around as necessary between themselves and not give it to others who don't need the information. Now there's also a way of locking who has access to VoterClick. So this drop down here indicates who is locked out of making changes. So if it's not locked, then that means that any officer from precinct leader on up has access to make changes in the delegate positions or contact information for their area. So precinct chairs can only access precinct information. District chairs can update anyone in their district. County officers and secretaries and staff can access anyone in the county. So there are two different locks. One is positions, which is being able to change people's delegate situation, add them as a delegate, or remove them from the central committee, any position, or just their contact information. So if I lock this at the county level, then that means that no one in the county, including you, can actually make any changes through VoterClick to the position of people. Now, this may be, you would set this before a convention or something at the time when there are no more changes allowed. If you set it to district level, that means district level and below cannot make changes to the positions, but anyone at the county level can. So you may want to allow people to still make contact changes, and this only allows them to enter an email or a phone number, and so you might allow even precinct chairs to update contact information. It's really up to you. If you set this to district, then no one below the county, or everyone district level and lower, is locked out of making these changes. Now these flags, if you are setting this up for the precinct caucus, this is whether you allow pre-registration for your county. If you allow pre-registration, you need to make sure that you have information about where the caucus locations are. If you allow the same-day ballot, you need to be able to provide the caucus locations, and you also need to advertise in your county that same-day balloting is available. And this determines if you allow spreadsheets to be uploaded in VoterClick to give the precinct caucus election results. So if you after you have the precinct caucus, you want to allow this, and then after the caucus, then you would uncheck this so that no one is allowed to enter any further results. So that's basically your county admin information. Now here, also in the county, you have some important things. And the first one is here, the email user records. This sets up your candidates so that they can use the email system and also get their own delegate list. So if you go here under Edit, and this would be a list of all your candidates. So if I'm going to add a candidate here, let's say that we're going to give them each a username, and let's say Grover Cleveland is running for governor. Governor, I can't spell it. And then you're going to assign that person a password, and they can't change it, so you have to give them a good password, not just password. Then you put in the candidate's name here, and governor, and an email address where this person can be reached. And this will also be the display email for when they send an email out. And what is their contact phone number? You can give them a security question, security answer if you wish. Now here is where you specify what delegates they can match to, that they can communicate with, and delegate lists that they can get. So the candidates are only allowed to get the delegate lists that you authorize them to. So let's say that it's for District 48. Then you would go here and say these people can, this candidate can get a delegate list or email to District 48, and that's all you would put. Now, is it county delegates or state delegates? You would enter that here, and this would be county delegates for District 48. Now, if District 48 is a multi-county race, then it would be state delegates, right? So it's whatever convention that these people is going to have their vote, that's the delegates they need to communicate with. Let's say that this is for a county office, such as the county commissioner. Well, then you would put in the county, and you would select county. So they can get all the county delegates that match Utah County. If it's congressional, you would put in here, let's remove this, and let's put it, say, Congressional District 3, and those would be state delegates, right? So you're going to determine which it matches to. Now, only use one of these. If you use more than one, then it's going to it's going to confuse the system. You can match either the county if they're county delegates. You can match the House district if they're House candidates. You can match the Senate district if they're Senate candidates. You can match the congressional district if they're congressional candidates, and then you just specify whether it's state or county delegates. So this will determine what rows what delegates list they can get, and also who they can automatically email. So let's submit that, and let's just show what happens now if I go here to VoterClick.com and I want to enter a candidate name, which I've already created one of Kirby email right there. This is what your candidates will see. Sorry, I need to do this and see if that gets me in. Nope, that's not the right password. I think I changed the password to password, so let's use this handy feature we just had installed of being able to see the password. There you go. Okay. All right, so this is what the candidates will see. They'll be able to get the public delegate rosters here for their specific area, and they'll be able to get voter lists out of our system for their specific area, and they'll be able to send emails. So they can just go in here and they'll be able to say if they want to send an email to voters or delegates. And remember, we've already said that this person will only get county delegates. So that's why it already says counties. Whether or not alternate should be included, that's up to them. And then they can put in a subject in the body, and then they'll just click send, and that will send an email to all of those people. And they can, just like MailChimp, they can get reports of a history of every email they send out, how many people they sent to, how many were blocked, how many were bounced. They can see a list of all the people that the email went to and what are the problems, so they can follow up with you and get better delegate information. And then and there'll be another video that explains all this to the candidates, including this ability to subscribe to roster updates, which allows them to get notified anytime there's a new delegate. All right, so let's go back then to the admin section, and the next thing that we want to be able to do is no, we're going to skip this. Leadership combinations, that's more of an advanced topic. We'll probably cover that at a different time. Party leadership positions, this is important for your officer vacancy reports. So we have various positions in the party, and what VoterClick wants to know is how many of these should there be. And then when you run a officer vacancy report, it can check to see how many there should be, and if you don't have enough, then it will tell you in the report. So here, for example, I've made a note that there should be, I have a position of district chair, and if I edit this, I'll say, how many district chairs should there be in the county? Well, it doesn't really matter. How many should there be in the Senate district? It doesn't matter. But there should be one district chair in each House district. So I've entered that, and now when I run a report for delegate or for officer vacancies, if there's not one, at least one district chair in a district, it will alert me. Now, we already have a way of setting this up for delegate count, but for example, let's say that I wanted to let the system know that each precinct, let's see, I'm just going to find precinct chair, and each precinct should have one precinct chair. Now, when I run a report of vacancies for officers, any precinct that doesn't have at least one precinct chair, it will alert me. It'll show in red that that is vacant. So that's important. Now, let's look at the precinct file, because this is a very important thing. Normally, you would update the precinct file by uploading a spreadsheet actually in the VoterClick program, and that's found here under VoterClick. Let me log in with my my VoterClick credentials, and then we'll be able to see just a second. Sorry, I am having a hard time with my mouse right now. So let's try this one. Okay, so here's my normal login. And what I can do here is under Caucus entry, I can use this upload election spreadsheets. Nope, sorry, that's not the one. Other party tools, there we go. Upload precinct updates. So I can export a precinct report, and then I can make changes to the spreadsheet, and then I can upload the precinct update. That's the normal way that you would make changes to your caucus locations in mass, your delegate allocations in mass. You would do it all through this upload precinct update. But if you only have one change or something that you want to make, then you would go here. Here's all your precincts listed in order. If you want to find a particular precinct, you can put the number in here and click on Query by Example, QBE, and it will find that exact precinct. You can also locate it by district or congressional district, however you want. But when you edit this, then it asks for how many state delegates are allocated to this precinct. Why is that important? Because, again, when you're running the precinct or the delegate vacancy report, it compares. It says, well, this precinct should have 4 state delegates, and it only has 3, so it will alert you that this precinct is short one. Or same thing with county delegates. And then the number to be elected is useful at the caucus. We use that for the update program of asking how many delegates were elected, so that each precinct knows the number of delegates they're supposed to have. And then your caucus locations are here. Again, normally you would upload your caucus locations through the spreadsheet. However, if you have one caucus location that changes, as they sometimes do, you can go right in here and change it. And then when you save this with the information of the host and everything, this becomes instantly available on utahcaucus.gop, and anyone going online to find their caucus will have current and up-to-the-minute information. So that's very important for your keeping your precinct information up to date. You cannot add or subtract precincts. That can only be done by a new file from the county clerk or from the state voter office. That's the only way in which precinct information is added or removed. So you'll need an administrator help to do that. All right, and then you can go here and do your precincts, and then lastly the voters. So the voter access here, if somebody's having problems logging in, or somebody's they're confused about their voter registration, you can look up all the voters in your county here. And so let's just see here if I can find myself. And I query by example. Over here, this button that says QBE. You put in the values you want to match across the top. And you click on QBE, and it will locate your voter. Now, be very, very, very careful about changing any of this information. You really shouldn't change it. It's here mostly for you to get the information and do some troubleshooting, but I've left it open so you can change it if there's an emergency. So, for example, I had a voter when I was the county party secretary that had gotten married and moved, and it was just before the convention, and they had been appointed as a delegate in another precinct that their voter registration wasn't in. It was just before the convention, so there was no time to get a precinct or a new voter list from the state. So the only way that person could be allowed to be a delegate in their new location was I went in here and manually changed their name to their married name, and then I manually changed their precinct and their state house and information so that they could be a delegate. So this is very, very rare, but it is here in case you need to do something like that. But you should make as many changes as possible, and almost all your changes, if not all, should be done through the normal VoterClick process, which is this manage rosters. So manage rosters, you select the geography that you want to be in. This is not part of the admin, but I'm just reminding you that this is here. Whatever you're responsible for, and here you can see a list of all the delegates and officers for that area, and you can make changes there. So that should be the way that you normally access everything. So let's see. Yeah, I guess we're done. So if you have any questions, please contact support@cerenimbus.com. This is Kirby Glad, thanking you for using the VoterClick system.